and with me is Manisha Gupta, and we have some not so sweet news coming in for all the sugar traders. The prices have hit a 12-month low, and what are the triggers? Why are the prices falling?
Well, yes, the kind of sharp decline that we've seen is something to watch out for. 2.5% down yesterday night, and it's down by 10% in last 1 week itself. And that's a big amount of movement coming in for something like a sugar, which doesn't really move like that most of the times. But then you are looking at higher production in India, where the 2022-23 estimates also have been released by ISMA, which says 35 million tons is what they're anticipating. You have higher production in Brazil this time around. Higher exports from Vietnam is also something that you're looking at. And because the ethanol prices in the global markets have seen a decline, Brazil does this week-on-week basis, so they have put more or diverted more cane for sugar rather than ethanol because the gasoline prices there have declined. So that really seems to be hitting sugar. Suddenly, you're not looking at as much a deficit that you were anticipating earlier.
But earlier on in the year, when sugar prices were soaring and they were at its peak, there was clearly a lot of demand coming in. So suddenly, why? I mean, is that when they started pressing the pedal on supply and on increasing the production? But how could at the same time demand fall so significantly in just 2-3 months?
So it's not so much about the demand, it really is about the supply. Because when the prices hit those decade highs in month of March and April, at that time the crude oil prices also were running higher. And sugar is very closely tied to your biodiesel and ethanol. And that was a time with crude prices running so high, more and more cane was being diverted towards ethanol. That is that is exactly when India started talking about, E10, E15 and E20 as well. And that's exactly what Malaysia seems to be doing, Indonesia seems to be doing. Everybody is making more biofuel. Now, with the crude prices, trying to hold around that $100 per barrel mark, the ethanol prices coming off the markets as well, expectation that you could be looking at crude consolidating around these levels or so much around. And then the demand is not so strong as well. We've already seen that happen in US, where the gas demand has declined in the summer driving season month. These 2 months basically define on how much Americans are driving around the whole country. So all of that seems to be impacting the prices.
And back home in the domestic equity markets, sugar stocks are also reacting to the downtick in prices. So what is the connection? Why are they seeing such a negative reaction as well?
So, India has had a surplus sugar lying. We know even after that restriction that Indian government put on exports, after doing those 10 million, also 1 to 1.2 million tons of export, which is already contracted by the mills with their global partners, is something that they were asking for allowance of. Now, this was being done where the prices were at around 18.5, 18.2. Today, you have seen prices come down to 17.2. Now, these contracts are still on, and the expectation that is the reason the sugar industry was pushing that it needs to be done faster so you can make use of those higher prices. Now, you're back at 1 year low prices. You still have those contracts.
Sub $18 levels,
17.2, more closer to 17 than 18. So, it does not augur well for all these mills.
Okay, so perhaps traders should stay away from the commodity as well as the mills and the companies, listed companies that are making it. At this point in time, it looks jittery even for the next few months.
It does, because when you look at the next year estimates as well, which ISMA has come out with, they're looking at a crop or sugar production of 35 million tons, Indian consumption at 27.5 million tons. The ethanol is as predicted, it's not gone anywhere else. And the export, they're expecting lower at around 8 million tons this time around. Last year, the season that is still going on, we've done 10 million and plus 1.2 is what the markets are anticipating. So it has been a record year in sense of exports. India never has exported this kind of a sugar. So next year, we're already looking at slightly lower exports. Things seem to be coming back to more normal than how we've seen the current season.
Okay, all right. Well, there you have it. The near-term trend at least indicates that some sustained weakness or jitteriness, if not weakness, in sugar prices. Watch out for those stocks as well if you're invested there. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. We'll be back again at 1 o'clock tomorrow.